at night. You're going to have to do more. So when I see somebody that comes in, you're here for, your first days and you're not asking those questions, that's an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's you like, that's like if you're a student that doesn't raise his hand. It's like, why are you never raising your hand? You mean you got it all figured out? If you got a question, you need to ask it. You're here to learn. You know nothing about it. Start wherever you're at.
And that's the big thing, especially in the beginning when you don't have this information cached in you, is the question you're asking is going to tell me like what you're taking in and what you're not taking in and
Right.
how you're viewing those things.
And what you want.
Exactly.
How serious are you taking this? You know?
So like,
if you come over to me and you're like, why are you putting that on there?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
And
you see what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that the big separation is, like I said, with my job, I think the skill entry is very low. I mean, like it can ramp up very quickly, but like that's just really learning the operation of machinery and things like that. So what I'm looking for, like, just these basic things, the way I see it is that I think they're very easy. Like, yeah, like I said, you can't read this work order. That's a whole other thing. You'll figure that out. It takes a little bit of time, but just basic things on how you think about how you pack a box. How you pack a box, and then you're thinking like, like I'll say it like a couple of times, like the way, like there's no real procedure for how you pack a box. You know what I'm saying? Because people think there's always another procedure. All right, do it. Just tell them like, look, it's about the most efficient packing. It's about how you can get as much stuff in under 50 pounds per box in as few boxes as possible. Just straight up, and there's just all like, it's just funny because it's like putting the right size like the right shape through the right hole in like the little 4 triangle shape thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you'll see this person sit here and they'll try like 8 different ways, and then there's the one person who tries to just set it in there on top of each other and be like, oh, it doesn't fit. And that's where like really I think the big like so where I'm just like I see something like, okay, this guy tried 8 different ways. He thinks like kind of like abstract. He can like kind of wrap, just
is it this didn't
problem,
fit or why doesn't this fit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because anybody can say it didn't fit,
mm-hmm.
but we're looking for answers here.
Yep.
So you got to start trying to problem solve, man. Simple as that. You got to start problem solving.
That's the one thing like I figure out with like the person like the person I work for at my job. It's you just learn people over time, and the way she like if she has a problem or like there was a problem, what she likes is like, okay, you go to her with like, okay, you don't just come to her like, hey, this is a problem. You go there and you be like, hey, there's a problem. I think I have a solution. It may not be the right solution,
right,
but I thought of a solution. I came to present that with the problem that happened on how to fix things. It's like little things.
Anything along the lines of that, right? Like she goes to whoever, and she goes, that I ran into this problem, and Steve told me when this happens to do this, but it didn't work out for me. You ask a side question. That's what you want to see. Initiative.
Yep, exactly.
Initiative. There's the word.
Yeah.
Initiative and a will to.
And like it's just there's some things that like I think are a little hard to explain. It says there's things that you see when like you present like your problems for these people. Like I'm not saying present problems, but like I'm not giving you the answer. It's like like after a week with this new guy Conrad, I start throwing him things like hey, pour over this work order. And I just want you to tell me, what we're going to do to it, what type of fitting has to be done with it. And then, if you can kind of like, explain that process, like just like here, A, B, C, and D, this is what's going to happen to it. It's just like little things like that. I'm not giving you an answer. Here, look at this work order and just tell me what you find. And that really tells you about how someone analyzes things and what they can do. And, this guy Conrad is like, I showed him how to do deliveries. He went and did deliveries. So I never showed him how to schedule them for a later time. So I'm like, hey, here, can you schedule this for a later time? And I just wanted to see if he could like I said, this website's very straightforward and basic. It's not like this is anything rocket science or crazy, or like I'm asking you like your thing to like, do some type of like window work without having much experience, So he goes over, I never showed him how to schedule for later time. He goes in, he's like, yeah, I think I got it, So I go over and, okay, he figured it out. He was able to figure it out. And it's just little things like that, I'm just like, okay, you can, I think you can do good here, because it's just, that's really all you need is just like, okay, I'm going to think about it and see if I figure it out. This is very straightforward. I think the work we do is very straightforward. And if you just present that inability to do those types of things, I just don't think, you won't cut it in most places of work, It's just, it's not a very high skill job here,
Right, I got you. Yeah, no, for sure. I think you're laying it out good to them.
Yeah.
From hearing you lay down, it's pretty good. And just definitely I think in the beginning, it's like, yeah, I definitely probably need more than one time for you to run me
100%.
through the steps.
Yeah,
no matter what.
100%.
Just because it's hard to like you said, pressure first
Oh
day.
yeah,
You're like,
100%.
first step, second, third. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you definitely might have to hear that again.
Yeah.
But trying to figure it out is key.
Exactly. And like I said, I told you, I try to kind of present it as look, it's not. I'm not saying like, hey, I'm super chill guy to work with.
Yeah, you try to come off
exactly
as that
You're
boss
yeah,
that like
that I
would take advantage of like
exactly.
a young lady.
Exactly. Like one of the first things I always talk
like
about.
A creepy one.
Yeah. One of the first things I say when we get there, like usually the first thing I'll do, like it's like the first day, and we, there's no like hierarchy of like, okay, well now you're the new guy, well now you do the trash. I'm just like, all right, we're gonna do trash real quick. And I'm just like the way I just said, I was like the way I look at it, just like I'm never gonna just like stick you guys with trash. I'm always gonna help with trash and do whatever,
and
that's
how you leave, bro.
And it's just little things like that, just
and
little.
You make it clear,
like,
that
hey,
blowies will get them farther in the company. That blowies it won't get you to the top right away, but it will give you an edge. Yeah. You just make that clear, right? Mm-hmm. And at that point, I think if a guy doesn't want to suck his way to the top, then does he really want it?
It's all about the power to suck. That's really at the end of it. That's the end game of it all.
That's that's the thing. Like you said, coming from my side of it, it's like I don't really know if you can. I can't tell you how to put this window in, right? Like put it like, okay, say like when two people are installing like a big window, right?
Yeah.
The person that's going into one of those pockets is deeper than the other. That's the side you go into the glass with, right? So you got to find out what the deep pocket. Oh, that's the deep pocket, right? So the person that doesn't have the deep pocket is going to hold his hand high. He's going to let go of his hand last, right? Because you're trying to drive it in there. The other person, he's going into the pocket, so you can't follow your hand into the pocket. You see what I mean? You're going to have to stop. So the other person has to hold this high while it goes in there. So if you're the person holding this high, right, and you're pushing it into the pocket, you're only supposed to watch this top left corner. You just want nothing else, right? Because you're not supposed to be worried about nothing else. You're controlling this with your hand. You're getting in that top left corner. Then you're going to let it go with your hand and drive it in like that. You're going to finish it up, basically. The person on the other side that's going in the pocket is supposed to look at nothing else but the bottom left corner. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell somebody that. It's hard. Like, I can write that down on paper for you, right? You can write it again. But when we go to do it, like people naturally, like let's say we go to do it and then it don't go in right away. People naturally are like, they start looking. It's like, so I really can't tell you. It's like, you got to do it. You got to learn it. And it's not like, oh, we're doing a small unit today. So you start with a small unit, then you start a big one. Like you might be in your second, seventh day and then we're putting something in above our head or something.
Yeah.
So it's, with us, it's a lot about trust, bro. Because, it's a glass. So it's like, I can't have you making mistakes. That's the truth. You cannot make mistakes on this job.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the same thing with like, where I work with print, it's like, we, the margins, once we print this job once, well, that's what is being billed to print this job once. So the minute that we get into like, reprinting things because we messed it up, it's like, well, that's not how this works. You can't. That's not how you sustain a business. You know what I'm saying? Like you start eating up all your profit doing all these reprints and redos. Exactly. Like, and that's the other thing. It's like there's just sometimes where it's like like I tell people all the time, like especially when it comes to like learning a lot more of the machinery and like reading work orders and understanding the kind of like because we all work with the computer program for entering jobs and shit. And there's another thing. I can't teach you all the different types of paper. I can't sit here and be like, okay, feel this one. That's 100 pound. You feel this one. This is 80 pound. You feel that one. That's text weight. Now it's a 24 pound. Like I can't teach you all the different million types of papers. It's like you probably couldn't sit here and teach them all the different types of fucking glass that there is, and all the different thicknesses, and the widths, and all the all that, and what's coated with. Like I just couldn't.
That's just gonna come with the job over time.
Exactly. And a lot of times people hate that answer.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, it's like, look, I know it probably frustrates you now, but this is something that you will get with time. You're not gonna get it right off the jump.
We've talked about this before. It was like when you have like a master tradesman, I come to your house and I do your window in 30 minutes and you owe me $900, or whatever it is. That's like, oh, I'm paying this much for this little time. Well, you're not paying for the time there, right? The reason it's so short is because I've been doing it for 10 years. So you're paying for the previous. You know,
Yeah.
you're paying for the knowledge, the wherewithal,
Yeah,
basically. That
and
comes
just the
with it.
overall cleanliness of work.
Everything,
know?
everything, right? The class, exactly, the class of work, everything. You're paying for all of this in a speed of time. You should be happy.
Yeah.
You should be like, damn, you know, those guys, bro, I had to get my roof done, bro. This team banged it out. They came back a second day to do the gutters. They banged out a whole roof in a day. I was impressed as shit. You know what I mean? They had like 5 guys. I was just like, damn, bro. Like, that's how you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm surprised they didn't have to come back a second day.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? I was like, good shit, guys.
You gotta come back. Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
the same way, bro.
Bro,
It's
it's so weird to me, dude.
Yeah, it's odd because I'm just, you know, like all the time, like, you know, I remember like, you know, like, you know, you just, when people do work like that, you know, and like it looks good, so it's like, well, you know, of course they spent time doing this, and they also took pride in their work to give you a clean job. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, I mean, like that's what they're paying you for. But there's people and there's handymen out there come up, they do slop, they slap it on there, about, you know, you get what you paid for ultimately. And you know, it's just always like, you know, I just love telling people, I was like, man, like, you know, like because I don't know if you really care or not, but that was fast. That was cool. And this looks great. Like, this looks awesome. I really don't know how much you care about that, you know, or me saying this to you. Like, this, you did so fast. You did it. This looks great. I'm satisfied, man.
Bro, tell me food is like the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
You go to a restaurant, bro. Server comes quick. Drinks come quick. Food comes quick. Food is great. Service is great.
You don't pay less. You don't want to pay less now like, because, you know,
you're not like, oh, you guys didn't spend enough time on me. Like, what the fuck?
For what you're spending, you know?
It's so selfish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know? And I mean, like, there's some people out there, it's just all hardball with them when it comes to negotiating any type of service or price. It's just all hardball, nickel diming, everything, you know? It's just like,
bro, it's you know, you always have like bad customers, you know.
Yep.
And I've had my fair share, but I've pretty much maintained myself now. I've said some shit before on job sites, you know, of like foremans being dicks and shit like that. I got kicked off of one job site for a foreman, you know, foreman being dick. I say something.
Yeah.
But skip through all of them. The last one, right, that I remember, bro. I'm doing this little door window. And like, as I'm going to do it, I take off these, you know, surrounding casing of it. And this woman's got like this big rubber mat, and it's got like these 1/2-inch screws that are going through this wood. So I just sit it on the edge of the mat. And I'm like tapping the screws out, you know, like on the mat. And this lady comes over and freaks out on me, bro. And she's like, what are you doing? She's like, you're hitting those on my floor? I'm like, no, ma'am. I'm like, you know, I'm hitting them on the mat. I'm like, I can go outside with it if you want. Like, I was like, I thought she was mad I was doing it on the mat, but she's like, you're hitting them, you know, hard on my floor. I'm like, there's no marks, you know, everything's okay. Like, there's a big mat, you know. I wouldn't have did it if I didn't think it was okay. And she's like, oh, you know, if you really know how to do glass, you would know not to do that. And I remember, like, that was the one, like, last thing that, like, someone said that, like, kind of set me off. Because I was just, like, looking at this lady and, like, not to go through the whole thing, but like she was not a good looking human, right? Like just sloppy human all around. So I'm like, I just was like, you should do glass. You know what I mean? That's all I was like, you should do glass. You know it. You know it.
Yeah.
You already know you should just why you should just fix it. You know what I mean? And I was like, and it's funny because she was like, I'm gonna call up your company. Right? She's like, I'm gonna call up your company and I'll tell them that, and we'll see if it's so funny. You know, so like I'm driving back, I'm like thinking about, I'm like, oh, this bitch, you know. So I get back, and like the next day, I ended up being, I'm like, did that lady, you know, lady called up? She ended up, I was like, that lady ended up going off with me. She's like, he's like, yeah, nobody never called. Nobody never called up and said nothing. I'm like, damn, like, I don't know what happened there. Like, she just want to lean on me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know, once you cocked back, she hit you with the one that she thought she could hit you with. You know, she thought she could hit you with the one. You know, that would be like, oh well, you know, like that would fuck with you. You thought about it. You know,
I thought it was so funny to me. I'm just looking at her. I'm like, there's not one thing in this house you could replace. There's not a single thing in this house you could replace. I bet you won't even cut the lawn. You know what I mean? You're sitting here and have the nerve to say that for like no damage done.
Exactly.
You know, regardless of what happened, no damage done at all, nothing.
Yeah,
and you're just like, come on. Man, I want to leave her shit open. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I really want to
Yeah,
do.
because I mean, some people are just there's just bad there's bad customers, and there's just ones that are just they just go out of their way to be nasty, man. And I remember working with print. I work with a lot of graphic designers and talk to a lot of them, and there are a lot of them, like designing something for like a website, like web design, and then designing for like social media or anything like that. That's all different than what you do design for print. There's just some things that just you need, for things to be consistent in print. And there's just no way around those things. And there's some people that just don't get that. And like I'm trying to explain it to them. And it's like, well, I went to school for 4 years for graphic design. And I'm just like, okay, and they didn't teach you anything about how to do it for print. I just don't understand. I don't know why we're here. I don't know what you're
All
talking
those
about,
years and they teach you shit about
Yeah,
print.
and then, like the only thing I can really tell them back, and then like the only thing I can really say is just like, well, the files are wrong. And they're just like, well, how they're wrong? Well, I'm trying to tell you that. So I'm trying to say that to you. I'm trying to explain that.
Yeah, but I have a degree.
Yeah, it's like things like that where like or you're talking to someone in marketing who's clearly probably making 100K in a marketing department doing graphic design or some shit, and they're just like snooty people, they're just like they talk down to you. You're a lower class worker,
Yeah.
and it's just like. I'm just like sitting there. I'm just like, dude, like,
fast food workers become managers.
You're wrong. Yeah.
And then like, all of a sudden they're like, act like they run shit.
Yeah,
You ever see that guy who does the videos, like the IKEA videos, where it's like what you really want to say to customers? And like, it's like him just like random shit, like, oh, can I still get the sale? I know it ended 2 days ago, but can I still get it? And he's like, it'll be like that, like Michael Myers music will come on. He's like, no. He's like, no. He's like, there was a sale 10 years ago on bed cheese. Do you want that too? Like, it's just funny because it's like that's what we all think.
Yep.
When somebody's saying like, when somebody's being rude to you. Long story short, right? When somebody's like being a dick. It's just like, why are you being like this? When somebody's like that to me, I always think, am I like this to people? Like, have I ever been like this to people or something? I hope not. Just being a straight dick to some random ass workers and somebody that's working on your house and that's not finished. That's the biggest part.
Yeah, like the only thing I've ever like that I can think of that like I've ever done, like I've always like feel like I've respected workers, but the only thing I've ever done is like I remember like you get some cool food at a restaurant. I've sent stuff back before. It's like, hey, this is cold, like or something like that, or if it's just wrong, it's like, hey, this is wrong, like it's just I'm not a dick about it. And it's like, hey,
I've just talked to a lot of people who say they did shit to people's food in restaurants, and that's what sucks. It's just like, man. Probably it's a chance. It's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just nice about it. I mean, you're not like a dickhead, like I mean, like I don't know how much nicer I can act and talk to someone. Like when I'm doing something like that, I'm like, I don't know, like I literally feel like turn into like a little chibi anime character. You're just like,
yeah, you're definitely right.
I'm so sorry, but like
me,
this is
I don't even
cold.
weigh it on
like
that.
I'm so sorry. Like it's
like I'm more weighing it on what you're complaining about. That's what I weigh it on. Like cold, bro. In my opinion, that's a hard one, dude. Like what's cold? What was cold?
It was like a hot, like your main entree. It was like, hey, it's cold.
What was it though? You know what I mean? That's the thing.
It's just cold. It's like hey,
let's say
this sat around.
Was it cold? Cold? Like it wasn't medium heat. Like there was no heat to it.
Like lukewarm. It was like. It's like shit like that.
I hear you, but it's a hard one, man.
And like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how much nicer I can be, but like, especially when you're spending a lot of money, just like, hey, I'm sorry, it's just like, I don't know how much nicer I can be. You just be like, hey, like, I'm so sorry.
What about if like they asked you beforehand? They were like, do you want all your food to come out together, or do you just want it to come out as it's cooked?
Something like that all together
first.
Yeah, something like that all together. You say something. I expected it all to come together, or like it's set under like that hot heat lamp, and the plates are hot as shit, like that type of thing. Like yeah, okay, it's whatever, but like, like you just get like straight like just like bad, like shit was wrong. Like,
I get it. I'm just thinking like there's some things that like there's definitely like soup.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna give me cold soup.
Yeah, I remember there was another time like I ordered some mussels and like like I'm literally like looking at them like there's like nothing in them. Like literally, I got like there's like a bowl of shells. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like looking at them. I'm like opening them up. I'm like, there's like literally nothing in them.
Let's clear the air on this, okay? I thought about you telling me this. I was actually talking to Kay not too long ago about you telling me this story. You might have told both of us this story.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I've said it before.
How many Nah, I'm glad we brought it up because I want to ask them a question.
Yeah.
How many muscles were there? How, not,
I don't know. I didn't
not-
count them. You know.
Right. Let's give me a rough estimate of how many.
I mean,
how
like-
many shells was there?
I mean, usually it's a pound. You get the appetizer.
When
You
you
know,
say
it's like a
there's
pound
10,
of muscles.
was there 10 shells?
Yeah, it's a pound of muscles. You probably got
15?
like 15, 20
15
shells. Yeah,
shells.
yeah. Yeah.
How many of those shells had muscles?
Bro, I didn't eat one. I did not eat one of them. I'm really opening them, and like that's what I'm saying. I don't know how this happened. You know, I remember I poked through one, and it was literally just like a membrane.
Was it?
Like literally, it was like a little thin membrane. I poked it, and it just like kind of like the hole came in. It just like kind of like stretched to the side. It was like a membrane. Like it was like a rubbery membrane. It just kind of
I
snapped.
hate
and just,
even using that
like
word.
nothing like
Yeah,
in
no.
there. You know, I'm just like I don't know how. I really don't know what happened.
Was it
you know?
pasta?
No, it was the appetizer. You know,
It was
the-
mussels.
Yeah,
alone.
and mussels on the appetizer. You know, it's like you know, like it comes in the
Mussels
white wine
by
sauce.
herself, though.
Yeah, steamed mussels, appetizer. Usually
And they
comes with the
weren't
bread.
anywhere in the sauce.
No, literally it was just empty, bro. Like literally it was just empty. That's what I'm saying. I can't explain it. I have no idea what happened. And like when I literally told this, I know she's thinking I'm crazy, but like I'm like literally there's
The
nothing
mussels were
in
not
here.
the sauce, people.
I'm like literally there's nothing in here. You know, like there's nothing. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just like okay, like hey, there's literally nothing here. Like I didn't know what to say. And like she's just like, you know, at the end I'm just like, you know, the mussels are still in the check. You know, she's just like, well, you send them back after you ate them all. I'm just like. And that's where I'm just like, I'm not paying for these. Like, straight up, I'm just not paying for them.
You stood your ground?
Yeah, I'm just like, no, I'm not paying for these. Like, I'm gone. I'm done. Yeah, I still tip my 10%. That's the
Where
lowest
was
I go.
that? Name
It doesn't
this
even
place.
exist no more. It doesn't
Name
exist
it
no more.
anyway.
As I'm saying, it was like some tapas restaurant in Harbor Pavilion. You know, it was like some
Fuck you,
Spanish
Captain.
tapas place in the Harbor Pavilion. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, Spanish.
Yeah.
I wonder what mussels
Like
are-
Spain
mussels
tapas.
are Spanish?
Spain tapas.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
the
okay.
Spain,
I guess
you know,
that.
tapas.
I guess that could
A
work.
tapas thing, yeah. And I'm just like, oh yeah, it was just weird all around. And she started off bad. I remember like we asked for Dr. Pepper, and she's just like, we don't have that. And I'm just like, okay, you know.
Doesn't
all right.
that suck when people are like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just like,
It's funny. Like it's another thing. Like work ethic, bro. You just spot it right away. You
Yeah.
just see it right away. Funny you say that, but we just went the other day to like a buffet, and you know, I went up to like where you get the steaks at and shit, and like there's nobody there. It's me and like two other people waiting. This guy comes from the back. This big white guy. He comes up, bro, to the grill. He says nothing to nobody. We're all just sitting there like, he's just looking at us. And then the one guy like looks at me. He's like, he did a little, you want to go?
yeah.
And I was like, well, I was here first, so I'll take, you know, I'm like, I'll take a medium rare, whatever it is. He's like, I don't got medium rare. Literally, that's how he said it, bro. He's like, I don't got medium rare. Because I got medium and well done. I was like, I'll take the medium rare, I guess, with the closer option. I guess I wouldn't go all the way well done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking, that's a side note. But,
Yeah.
but then, you know, he like gives me this piece. And you know, when a buffet, like, they don't hit you with big pieces.
Nah,
bro, it's like
nah.
this big.
Yeah.
He's like, you want that whole thing or you want me to cut it in half? And I'm like, what? I'll take the whole thing, you
Yeah.
know? And it wasn't a big deal. Like I said, he wasn't like the worst guy ever. But
Yeah.
for me, it just was unfriendly.
Yeah.
Like you see three people waiting out there, like it or not, bro, this is your job. You come up there, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
like, you should be the first person that always talks. If you're the worker, in my opinion, you should be the first one to talk.
Yeah.
And I don't
And-
know if that sounds right, but
No,
in my
I feel
opinion.
the same way. And like the way I've always approached every job is like I've always just been, you know, cordial and nice. And at the end of the day, it's like even though I didn't want to be there and didn't hate to be there, I never took that out on the person that was in the store. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's not like, yeah, you may hate your job here, but like they're just coming
Right.
to have a meal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Or
never
they're
did
coming
that
to
either,
Sears
bro.
to buy their wrenches and turn in their wrenches because they broke Craftsman. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro,
Like,
I did the opposite, where the more I hated the place, the more that I gave to the people.
yeah, oh yeah.
I give extra
All the
shit. I
time.
hated Popeyes, gave shit all the time.
Bro.
I throw
Bro.
fucking 5 pieces of chicken
Listen,
extra in that
man.
motherfucker for a random person.
Listen, that's
Sandwich? You come get a sandwich from me at Santoni's when I was
Look.
running that deli? Okay, 2 pounds of meat on that joint. I don't even know you.
This is the very reason I got fired from Sears. Because so when you get hired on Sears, I was there like 17. I was working there after school, and I only worked there for 3 months because that's a probationary period. And I thought they decided to keep you or not. So the whole time I'm in the hardware department, and at one point I worked electronics by myself like 1 or 2 days when they had no one else. And with all that, they have people there that do sales, and they get a percentage of commission for selling, you know, in the hardware department or selling in the appliances or electronics. You sell a lot of electronics, you'll get your commission. Even if it's a little bit, you'll get a small percentage. So first of all, like whenever I would when no one else was around and I would sell shit for other people, I'd use other people's codes to give them their money, always did shit like that. And then there were times where people were just
wait, hold on. What would you do?
Use their code. So when you bring someone in, you enter your employee code, and that's what keeps track of the transactions that you do versus someone else does, vice versa. So whenever someone did a sale or I sold something, I didn't get commission. I was just a cashier, so I would give it to whoever was on the floor for commission. So I would just be like, use their number. Blah, blah, blah. And that's what they told me to do. So I'm not gonna sit there and start a pot. I'm like, all right, I got y'all. So I'm just sitting there, just use their code and do that.
Give it to that
other thing I would do.
House girl.
No, just whoever. There was one dude that there was a lot of cool. There was a lot of cool people there. It wasn't about looks. It was just cool people, man. Just cool people.
It wasn't nothing about looks.
There was this one girl, Angela, bro. Listen, bro. Well, think about who's working in Sears at this time. All these salespeople were old as hell, bro. All the cashiers were the teenagers. You know what I'm saying? The people were just coming for minimum wage.
You couldn't give them.
Yeah, none of us got commission, so it didn't really matter.
I got you. Okay.
So I remember this is one girl I'm working with, Angela. She's like 30. She's not that old, but not a looker. And she was just cool as fuck. I fucked with her. You know what I'm saying? So I'd always give her a bunch of sales. I was in electronics one time. Dude comes in, buys $1,100 worth of stuff: TV, Xbox, a bunch of games, controller, just goes all out. I'm like, all right, I go to get the guy Rafi. Yeah, it's funny his name's Rafi. His name Rafi over in appliances. Yeah, in appliances. Because he bought me lunch the next day. You know what I'm saying? So I come over and say, hey man, this guy's buying $1,100. Do you want the sale? He's just like, fuck yeah, man. He's like, fuck yeah, I'll take that.
So they're coming in, they just go and buy their shit. They don't go to Ralphie. They just go past.
No, because he was in appliances. He wasn't even in electronics.
So they didn't even look at
but
what
he would get
selling.
But he would get commission on any sale pretty much.
Gotcha.
And now a lot of people kind of rotate. He made more in appliances, but in electronics, he still got something. I'm just like, bam, give him that. And then there was a lot of other things I did. So there was you could always price match online or Walmart or anything like that. You could price match as long as people provide proof. There was a certain amount you could do without getting manager approval. So there's a lot of times, some people would just be like, I don't want it. And I'll just be like, okay, that one doesn't work. It needs manager approval. That doesn't work. All right, I can take 60 off. If you want it, I can take that 60 off, And then the guy behind me gets the commission, I'm just like, you want it or not? Just like,
that's cool.
They're just like, all right, I'll take it, I'll take it. And I'll just do that all the time.
Sell.
Did it all the time.
You should have been getting commission.
Yeah. And there was a couple of times where they came to me and was like, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. And I was just like,
they came to you and said
that? Yeah. Twice they did. One time in electronics, because there was one time, there was one time the computer locked out, and I had to get a manager to come over and lock it out.
And they were like, "What the fuck?"
And then they had to sell it in front of that person because I'd already, everything they were trying to pay for right then and there, so they weren't gonna tell them no. So then they were just like, "Look, you can't do that, without proper price approval and stuff like that." I'm like, "All right, I got you." And I would just keep going as
you tell you like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like I'm sorry. They were like, "Well, what were you doing the discount for?" I'm like, price matching, and they're just like, where's their thing? And I'm like, I don't know where it went. I didn't know where it went. It's just okay. You can't do that.
The first time, what happens the second time?
Well, the second time, I'm guessing they just looked at the thing, and they're just like, look. And I remember after that, and I was in my 3rd month.
Well, you can't blame them for cutting your ass.
Yeah. That job sucked, bro. The job was for $7.25. It's like I stood for 8 hours after I came home from school, and I was at school for fucking 6-7 hours, and then coming into work, and I would close, get his bus home, taking the bus, from East Point Mall, working at East Point Mall, fucking sucks. Sears, shit, am I getting shit for being here?
Yeah, you're lying.
It was just it was just stupid. I'm just like, I was like at this, because I remember I didn't want to go back to a restaurant. I was like, yeah, I'm going back to a fucking restaurant and get some fucking tips. I'm just go back to a fucking restaurant. I'm getting out of here. That shit sucked. But it was so hilarious. I remember coming office.
To the boys. You're like, yeah, I'm going back to the restaurant.
Going back to the restaurant.
Every time you tell me, I always picture you saying it how it went down. And shit. So that's why I just start grinning. Even when you told me the story earlier about how you tell those people this picture, you're like in my head, as you're telling the story, you're just walking down some like some office, like computer offices rooms, you know,
Yeah.
and you're like, got your hand on the wall, and you come back around into the corner, you're like, I own up, or something. You know what I'm thinking about? It's just- what part's giving you the trouble? You know, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It's like, so I always picture every time, like even on the deal part, like you're just like reading up. That's so funny. Think about it, you go like, oof, manager approval.
Yeah,
cancel.
Yeah, get out of there.
Oh, I gotta know this one.
Yeah, boom,
And
boom, boom, and just keep trying to knock it down.
I don't know why it's so funny to be picturing you doing these very simple things, but like also like I'm picturing that movie, like I'm picturing younger Steve, so it's like just funny of like, and you like trying to explain like why you're doing it, yeah. And they're like, yes, I'm doing it. You're like, okay. It's like,
here's what it is.
just got know you really know like what you're doing. It doesn't really have like why'd you start doing it? It's like because you hated the place, so you just started giving money away.
It really wasn't like I hated the place. You know, it's just like I'm just sitting there, and the way I'm thinking about it,
make sales.
No, the way I was looking at it, I was like, I'm hooking these guys up. You know what I'm saying? They get their commission on whatever.
Okay, right.
You know what I'm saying? And I met some cool people that I worked with where they were like, you know, they were chill.
They were be cool to you.
None of them were like managers or anything, so they were all just like, they never were like, hey, go start that shelf. We were all chill, geek. Yeah, I remember like, you know, I remember at the time I'd always like fucking kill those McFrappes and shit. You know, there's a large extra caramel frappe, chug that shit down on a shift. I remember like this one girl, not chug it, you know what I'm saying? Just down it.
You did like that too.
You just chug it real quick.
Like,
yeah, no, this is an exaggeration. I remember this lady, she'd always buy one for me, you know, and she was cool, you know, we were all cool people there. So I'm just like, let's get the sale, you know, it's like, hey, that was the thing, like, and that was the thing, like, you know, I'm guessing they looked at those records and were just like, yeah, these
how much you think you gave out?
We're fucking stealing. Man, it was definitely more than $1,000, bro. You know, it was a couple, yeah. Because I mean, I'm thinking like, because a lot of times it's like either 20, 30, 40. You know, the max I've seen was 60.
I got you.
And you know, it's just like I did that a couple times.
You think that lady was buying the frappes for you, like you?
It's possible. It's possible. She's a little cougar, yeah. It's possible, you know.
Why else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, you know, like,
yeah, you're about her anything.
You're like 40 at like Sears. I'm like, you know, I don't know.
She fucks all the
little cashiers that come through here, bro.
90-day
just be grooming the little probationary cashiers. Yeah, exactly. You know,
frat house it usually works.
I remember that lady was there. I remember like, cause I'd be at East Point, and I mean that's what Sears had the craftsman stuff. So I would go and get tools there and shit and stuff, and I'll see this lady, and hey, what's up? What's going on? Hey guys, and they were all cool. And she was there forever, man. I remember seeing her there when I was younger. I was a kid going
that
there.
Frappe, you wake up in the downstairs bathroom,
in the fucking
bathroom stall.
I'm thinking that in that fucking that loading dock down there, man. That was a fucking bro. The people down that loading dock used to steal so fucking much, bro. There's so much stuff that comes out those loading docks.
Bro,
man.
that laser tag parking garage is sketchy as shit.
That's where Steve's loading dock is, bro.
Yeah.
And I knew a couple guys down there, and they all stole shit, bro. All of them stole shit. Come inventory time, hella shit missing. Everyone just write it off as a loss. You know, it's just like.
Well, how come stock traders get to do it? Joe Moskin, I'm coming for your ass. Okay. Did you watch that daily podcast I sent you?
Nah, I didn't watch that one. That's Joe Manchin.
Joe
Manchin.
That's what I'm calling him.
Yeah, Munchkin.
Bro, try to sum it up the best I can for you. This motherfucker, bro, right? He's born, his daddy's already governor. So once he hits adult, his daddy puts him on with this deal, basically for him to broker a deal. He ends up making like $300,000, like shit like that, right? So he starts moving up, and he invests in this fucking coal company in West Virginia, and then he ends up getting in like West Virginia politics and shit, and becomes like governor himself and shit, I believe, or mayor, whatever it is. And he ends up like, first of all, with this company, right? Like at the time, all of America's burning coal. And when they dig for this coal, they produce this shit that's called like grudge or some shit. I can't, someone a G. Groth or gudge or something. And that's coal that still has like clay attached to it or soil attached to it. So they just discard it. So he's had these huge piles of this shit. Well, he got them to like start, well, like not him, but he was part of it basically, is to start burning this shit as the shit to fuel the coal plant basically. So once he does this, he's like in, politics, he makes an agreement to get this one company, his company basically, as the only one that can burn the shit. So like he's getting paid for this production. They end up giving him 1% on all money, not just revenue, not if they make money or lose money, 1% or whatever they make per year. And he's voting on things that directly affect them.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like he's directly making money. And like he asked them about it, and like they're saying basically he didn't do anything illegal because it benefits other parties too. He's not solely benefiting. But he's voting on the things that affect his company, and like still to the day, there's like only like 12 of these fucking mining things left, and that's one of them. You know what I mean? So it's like it just blows my mind of like how you gotta listen to the whole podcast to see like how many things he
Yeah.
did, bro. But pretty much like he just corrupted it every single way along the road. He got free money from his daddy, already being like putting him on basically. Like, not to say he wasn't going to do it, because you still
Yeah.
gotta go do it, right? You can't take that away from him. But like, the opportunity is everything. And he just got free opportunities here, and then he's able to vote on things that he makes profit from. It's like, I was like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, but that guy, he steals from Sears, and it's like, we're gonna give him jail time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
you know?
weird. It is
Yeah.
weird, bro.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, like, this is like I tell all the time. It's like, look, if you're going, don't go steal for some little mom and pop stores. Go steal from fucking Walmart.
All
Go
the
steal
time.
from fucking
All
Walmart.
the
Go steal
time.
from Sears. Go
And
steal
don't
from all
steal
those
from
fucking.
people.
Fuck it, exactly.
Don't steal from
Fuck it.
people.
Fuck those big corporations. I mean, even the people working there are not being affected. Sears was going on long ago. It doesn't matter how much theft was going on or how much stuff they were going to stop. They were going on a long time ago.
Yeah. It's weird though, because like we
And
say
then-
that, but like you don't want everybody stealing either.
No.
That's the
No.
thing, right?
No.
Because like you ever see like them Home Depot ones where like people be filming them and they're just cutting the tags as they're running away,
Yeah.
and like the signs are going
Yeah.
off.
Or
Like,
people just go and just grab the whole rack and
doing
dip.
20 people are doing this like every day, or every hour or something. It's
Mhm.
like, well, still, you told us still for the corporations. Like, not corporations are fucking dead and broke. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I think like I heard a crazy thing from the people that used to work down there at Home Depot, and I think I forget what it was, but something like $100,000 to $1 million is stolen from that one on Eastern Avenue a
Bro.
year.
So, everyone I know that worked like either under the table or like as a laborer at a construction sites or any type of like job around involved in that, what they would always do was anything left over from this fucking thing being built, being put together, anything left over, they would get together, figure out what they had, go to Home Depot and return it. You can return it without a receipt.
And you get store credit.
You store credit. Yep. And there's so many motherfucking
But
people.
return what?
all that.
Their own tools?
No, it's just whatever's left over from the job site. So you got pipe fittings,
Okay.
any type of other like electrical boxes, metal conduit boxes, any type of metal conduit pipe, any left any unused wires,
Yeah.
pretty much anything
Yeah.
that you could think of.
Would you
little
allow
knickknacks
them
from
to
that,
do that if you owned that
from
company?
little knickknacks. Anything left over? I mean, like ideally, you think about it, you would put it, you would return that yourself and get your,
Right.
put it back in your business.
Do you think
on the
that's
bottom
okay
line.
with what they're doing though? Like,
No.
like morally, you as
Yeah,
you?
no, I don't think it's okay. No.
Right, because but I'll explain to you how it became a problem at my old job. Right, they didn't want you to, but they didn't stop you. When we
Mhm.
got done, when we would go put in these big ass fucking metal frames, we had to tear a metal frame out, bro.
Mhm.
So we would just throw that glass to the side and keep all that fucking metal, bro,
Scrap it.
and like fill all these big ass, what's that name? But like trucks up with fucking metal, like 4 or 5 of these trucks, bro, and go right to the scrapyard when we were done the job, cash it in, bro, and get like a few $100. Like,
Yeah.
it's aluminum, so it's not
Yep.
nothing crazy, but like $400, $500.
Yeah,
for like 8 people.
of all the metal to turn in,
Right?
aluminum would
So
be
like
it.
was awesome, bro.
Yeah.
And then we would all go
And-
get lunch and shit.
That's the thing. If your company didn't have a thing in place, it's just like, hey, go take it, man.
Right,
it's like,
but listen, the problem was they ended up having some addicts in positions of power that were running these trucks. So it got to the point, bro, like literally we do a frame fucking this big, and they would go to the scrapyard with this much to get $3. So like they're driving 40 minutes away from the shop to go get $4 so they can get 10 more and buy a 15 or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah,
You know what I
mhm,
mean?
yep, yep.
Like, so it got to the point where they put GPSs on them and you weren't allowed to go no more. It just fucked it up for everybody.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that people fucked up for everybody.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
there was a thing they used to do with like before I got, at the old company I was at, where like they would like buy, they would get a big old trash can and like fill it up with beer and let everybody have like a day at the Christmas party to like drink all day and get drunk and shit. Somebody got too drunk and I'm getting hurt. You know, see what I mean? So it's like there always is that one motherfucker that fucks it up for everybody, bro. You
exactly.
know, and like that used to be the worst thing. Like down at that company, bro, they would always give you like secret. It was not number big, but like secret, but not always neither. But they would give you like secret bonuses and shit, like $50 gift card.
Mm-hmm.
But don't tell your helper.
Yep.
The person you did the job with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, this doesn't feel. I literally would go right back, like, look, I'll just give you, I'm gonna pull out 25 or I'll pay for breakfast tomorrow or something. I'll just tell them, like, that's what they did. I'm not gonna play the bad guy here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why they're doing shit like that because we both the job and I didn't tell them to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and like they would like certain crews, they would give like you know, like gift cards to like go to like Chick-fil-A and shit, and they wouldn't do it for other crews, even though like that crew had a harder job. Like choosing favorites and shit and like trying to keep it as a secret. And they think that shit don't get around.
Exactly,
you know, like,
man. You know, hey, it gets around.
People, and somebody's gonna go back and be like, yeah, I got that. They give me a gift card. You know, somebody's gonna brag or think they can tell someone in confidence or something and fuck it all up. You know, always their scheme. Fuck their scheme up. But I'm saying the whole scheme there is just sick. Period. You know, and I don't know if that's how you want to run your company, bro. It's frustrating when it works.
Yeah, and
Cheap
like
works.
And like, you know, like right now, like I'm working in like a position at work where like, you know, I do, you know, delegate things. You know, I do have to delegate things, and I you know, I have to teach other people to do stuff and rely on them to do those things as well. And you know, I always feel like I have like just a good eye for like just like, you know, who's working hard, and just like, you know, I just always tell people, I'm gonna say, look, I don't know, you know, what this means to you from me, but I just appreciate you work hard today. I really appreciate that. You know, if you take it some sort of like platitude, then I guess so be it. But I just want to say, like, you know, thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, I remember like, you know, there was a time, you know, when we all first started working together with all these, you know, new people here. You know, there's this one lady, you know, just like, you know, a lot older than, you know, most of us. She was always doing the trash. You know, and I'm just like, you know, Kara, I really appreciate it. She, you know, she did a couple of days in a row, and I was seeing how kind of like people reacted. You know, and I went there. I was like, I really appreciate it. You know, you don't got to worry about the trash for the rest of the 2 weeks. Don't even worry about it. I appreciate you always on top of it. You always try to do it. If you see no one else is doing it, you're just gonna go do it. I appreciate that. Don't worry about it. We'll get us guys. We'll take care of the trash. You know, don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just like, you know, just little things like that. You know, just like cool. You know, like you look for those people, you reward them. You know, if you're in a position, especially if you're in a position where you can, yeah, especially if you can, you know, just like here, you know, just reward them. And you know, it sucks because like, I remember like there was a thing I watched on YouTube where it was like there's people asking teachers, and they were looking at like it was that, you know, Jubilee stuff where like they were talking about if all like teachers think alike, you know. And you know, I remember there was like one question where it's like, you know, do you have a favorite student? And you know, all of them agree, and they're like, yeah, you know, a lot of times it's not even like about who's the best student. You just get along and have favorites with some students, and you just like them, you know, for like, you know, you're just cool with you just like that student. You have a favorite, you know. And people do have favorites, and I think like if you were in a company, you know, you wouldn't try favoritism, but like let's say like you were kind of company and you had someone who like how you think of yourself, you know, come working hard, you know, you'd imagine that you would also see that in that same person, you know, and they always do that. They have that integrity. Well, he would probably be one of your favorite people, you know, like probably, you know, it's just like
hard not
how
to
go. Right? Yeah.
Just like, do you think a mom has a favorite child?
Yeah, I think so.
One's 1% more.
Exactly. You know, I don't think
and it might just be whoever's the baby every time.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have a new one, it would be 1% for them.
Yeah, who's a young one, you know.
But they'll always work like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes people have clear favorites, and I've seen it.
And I mean, and it's funny because like there's a lot of them that like, you know, kind of almost like come like that like cliche where it's like, okay, you're the middle child. Well, you're the middle child, you usually get treated the worst, you know, because they were the first and they were the last. So you're the middle child, they usually get the brunt of it. You know, that's usually how it goes. You know, it's just like, I don't know why. It's just like, it's, you know, just like I don't know, is your second one not as special? Because that seems weird, you know. But like, you would have a favor of how they act. Yeah, how they act and how they like, you know, like, because I think there's gonna be one kid who will like, yeah, you're like that kid's cool. You know, that kid he's cool. You know, and there might be another kid where you're just like, look, you know, it's like, or it's like you don't necessarily think he's cool, but you're just like, you know, like, yeah, I mean, like you're nice, you're not killing nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you'll have those personalities.
You're doing
You'll still
okay.
love them as your kid, but like
But Eric's a doctor.
there'll be one you want to hang out with and chill with, and then there'll be one that you
Listen,
probably wouldn't hang out with. You know, it
You
just might be how
run
it is.
a great Chick-fil-A establishment. Okay? And I love that you bring us Chick-fil-A home. But Eric's a doctor. Your brother Eric's a doctor. You know what I mean?
But sometimes I'd be like, Eric's a dick doctor, and it's just like, whoa, I like Teddy because he runs his Chick-fil-A franchise,
But he knows when to
And-
shut the fuck up.
and he has some he has some great stories, you know, or like he's someone I go drinking with, you know, you have a good time with, you know what I'm saying? Like that just might be what it is. You might, or like literally, you guys might just be like closer. Maybe like one time. You both fell over in like in a water rapids and
Something
almost
happened,
drowned
yeah.
together, and you guys fucking made it out, and you just loved each other more. But you went through that experience together. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, Eric. I know you're a doctor, but goddamn, we share something. We share something out here.
Or like it was your hardest birth.
Yeah, you know.
Or like I've heard a lot of people say like their favorites are their easiest births. The ones that come out the quickest.
yeah.
That's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine
I've heard it. They
I-
say it.
I imagine it's. I don't think it's like traumatic, but definitely makes an impression on you. Like you went through
Yeah.
hell with one baby, and the other
Yeah.
one was just like.
But maybe the hell one with you. I was talking about that the other day about like what the fuck did they do? You know, is there some PTSD involved with a C-section? You know, because we
Yeah.
did like back in the day they cut a baby out, but they couldn't save the mother. Now we save mothers,
Mhm.
and people have multiple C-sections. It's
Yeah.
crazy, ain't it? It's
Yeah.
absolutely
You
wild.
just open up the fucking body cavity, and there's like, baby at the womb, you know, like a uterus, bam, 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 you know, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Shit. Like I don't like what I don't know, man.
You
You
should
know?
watch that Prometheus, bro. There's a lot of it that I always want to keep referencing, but that's what it says. Just like it goes into this crazy like little span of like just like life, right? Because it's all about finding. The movie is about finding the answers to life, and like they put their own spin onto it. And like they were talking about life, and they were saying like how special that is. And the men were talking. They were like, well, none of us have that ability. It's the the woman that is able to create life. You know, and like Murray was talking yesterday, like
Mhm.
when does the soul get involved? That's why I was thinking about that because of that movie. Like, well, when does the soul get there? When something like able to, because they were talking about like basically they had these people they called the engineers. So they went, long story short, to this planet that they thought they were at based off of like Egyptian shit and everything. And they ended up being there. And these are the people that created us, like our DNA matched up with them. And they were like, there's a lot, there's all types of shit that they had going along with that basically. But they all wanted to ask like different questions. And then like I told you, there was like that one guy that was like, I don't care. I don't care. I just want to go back home. I don't care what they have to say, like, or what they did. But like they go into that talk of like how they were like, it's in the future, right? So one of the oldest guy that's there that funded it all, he has created a living like full sentient, I believe is they call AI, that can talk and everything, like that's with them that you would never know. So when they come to this creator, he's like, look, I'm also a creator. I've created life too. But he's created synthetic life where like this one was able to do this, and they get like all of this shit goes down, and like towards the end they're like, they realize like maybe it's not so hard to create life, that it actually is just like opportunity in certain cells, and like it happens, all the way down to like the ant level. Which leads me to another thing that I was learning about, and it blew my mind because he put it like this on it. He was saying, how are you aware if someone way smarter than you and way bigger than you is having an effect on you at all, right? And the comparison he did was, he was talking about an ant. He was saying if an ant was walking across you, say you came up and you blew on that ant would have no idea that that's what was happening to it. It would just be in survival mode, basically. Oh, what's going on? Reacting to what's happening. It would never have any idea, that a human is blowing air on it right now inside of a building in Baltimore City in America. You know what I mean? Like those are never going to exist, those things. So now try to picture that on a level that you can understand. Of someone blowing on you and it happening and you not knowing what, you know what I mean? You being like, oh shit, in your survival mode because of what happened. but really someone was making a play on you, you know, or like doing something to you, and you like are so minuscule that you can't even understand they did something. You know what I mean? Like that's
you couldn't even perceive that.
You can't even
force.
perceive it, dog. It's frustrating, bro. Just frustrating to think about, like, you know, that like you can't see energy. You don't have the ability. You don't have the ability to see energy. It's just, you know, as fact goes, as I know, I've never seen energies. I know, you know, like
I mean, like you've seen
be some fucking.
I mean, like we've seen, like, you know, sadly, like rapid chemical expansion of energy, where like, you know, like you have two violent chemical reactions, which creates a bomb.
I can't even see reds.
You know, like you can see that like explosion, and that's like that's probably the only like real energy you might see, and like I mean, like in like some type of like, you know, form. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that's extremely fucked up. You know, like you see that explosion, the shock wave, you see that force being generated like by this chemical reaction.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we would have to ask, like, how do you see beings like describing that kind of being? If there was a kind of being like that, right, that could have that effect on you that you couldn't even perceive what it is doing.
Yeah.
How do you think that looks?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I just don't know. I mean, like you just have like some type of like imaginary made up type of thing.
What comes to your mind?
You know, like for some reason I just kind of imagine kind of like it's almost like a plasmic type entity, you know, for some reason. Like, so I don't know why it just goes like some type of like supernatural. It just like snaps and you just explode. You know, just like I don't even know. Like,
like what? Like, what's it look like though?
Oh, it definitely looks. I don't know, like type of like I mean, like it's the only thing I can think of is like a flame, like atronarch. Like, you know, it's like the only like go to mythical creature. You know what I'm saying? Like something I guess, you know, the one thing that you can link it to in your mind on how this thing might look. You know, it's like
okay. It's okay. In the way that in my mind, I see it would have no look. You see what I mean? So it would be invisible. So that's why I said we can't even see energy. Because to me, once something is that powerful, I can't even put it in a physical form no more. Like, I don't even see it.
That's why I go to like, you know, supernatural things.
I just picture it
like
would be like
science
nothing.
fiction, or like, you know, kind of like, you know, that type of thing, or like you know, just like,
to me, energy occupying space. It would be invisible to a human eye. You know, maybe that's why I can't even perceive it. Is because it's just invisible to a human eye. That's why I said can't see energy. So that's an immediate flaw.
I mean, like, you know, light, you know, is energy. You can see, you know, certain spectrums of light. You know, there's that. I mean, you know, you can't see the actual waves that they make. You know,
do you believe in souls?
You know, yeah.
Okay, you can't see them,
but you can't see them. No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, like it's like a life energy. You know, I mean, like if you could see like a life energy, I don't think so. No, I could never perceive that.
That's what I'm saying.
There's just some things that just probably transcends human, you know,
right. But isn't it
perception?
Isn't it crazy though? Because if something was that powerful, you would also imagine it has the ability to shape what you want to see. Like, what would you be like that he once could again, that movie Prometheus, bro, when he makes that guy I'm talking about, that synthetic AI, the AI is talking to the one person, and he asked the human, he said, why do you think that they made me? And the guy said, because we could. You know, and like you could tell he's like, you know, and he's like, they made me because I look like you. Because this guy, like this ultimate wealthy guy, he's like, has alien in him, basically, you know, so he lives super long. He's like, it's a long story to explain, but the guy they created was meant to look like humans, you know, because he said that you wouldn't want to hear it from nothing else.
Yeah, but he's not a human. You
want to hear it from a human that like, I have the answers, right? Yeah. I can like decode the rock or whatever fuck it is that he was doing, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't want like how could you deal with like, imagine if I told you, right, energy was right here, right? And treat it like a person. And I said, he's going to go with you into that cave and you're going to do this and come back out. You know what I mean? Like when you go to do it, you're not going to be talking to energy. Energy is not going to be talking to you. It would just come to you in your head, right? Mm-hmm. And that could fluster you. Like you might not know how to deal with that. You know, you wouldn't be used to experiencing something like that. You might feel like maybe it's mind control or like you're being manipulated. You're like, what the fuck? You know, you wouldn't want to take it. So you would think maybe it would take the shape of something that you even see as friendly or maybe even weak,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then, like,
Not like
then
a
tell you.
threat. Yeah,
Right, but it shouldn't have to. Our minds are just so feasibly small
It would
that
just-
imagine it, bro. Imagine if like someone like I told you energy was
We-
right here, and then you got a thought in your head.
we still
That's
have
pretty scary.
we still have the ability, we still have like the natural instinct to be put on the defensive. You know what I'm saying? So like, if something wanted to bridge that gap easier, I mean, they would obviously kind of attack those things that you like and would look for. I remember in South Park in a comedic sense, I've seen a lot of people do it in comedic senses, where like I remember these aliens come to the kids in South Park. And they're like, oh, why are you Santa Claus? And it's like, well, we decided to change our form to find something that you kids would find friendly. And they're just like, yeah, it's not working for us. You should be a fucking walking taco that shit's ice cream, and that's what he turns into, just like, yeah, that's
funny.
To bridge that gap, you would just, be whatever. It's like the movie The Shack, where she's just like, oh, God's a black woman. She's like, no, I'm just still, this is what I thought you needed right now, like that.
Right.
You think a being of that power and magnitude would probably be able to do that.
And know what you want. Yeah.
Exactly.
And if it's his neighbor,
I mean, you transcend, any type of visible spectrum, or like, you do exist outside of third dimension, or what? Like, how's that? Or do we live already in a multi-dimensional universe, but we can only perceive 3 of them? I don't know.
Right.
It's just,
and we can't see it.
It just transcends. Those guys in Interstellar, they fucking operate on time. Okay, like, okay.
I wonder if we ever really did have the ability to like see other dimensions.
Yeah, I'm not even sure like what that like it's
But
just
DMT,
it's just crazy. Like,
DMT
we can
trip.
sit here, like, it's just like not gonna make you put your head through a fucking wall. You're just like, you just see into another dimension. There's other dimensions, Steve, and you're just like, it's, okay, like,
But if you could see
what
that,
does
like,
that mean? I don't know. I just always come to that. It's just like
you gotta watch that.
it's so
movie.
wild,
I swear,
man.
bro. You gotta watch that movie because there's if you could go to visuals because they try to explain that.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
give a visual of like what the most advanced civilization you could imagine would have and the way they would create it. And like there's this ultimate point where like they're, it's the system starts up and it just mapping this entire universe. And they're able to go to any universe and, the planet and the coordinates and, be able to see like it all in like this 3D type of like mindset, right? I was just thinking, like, what if you could, always see like that? Like, I don't know, bro. I mean, life's pretty boring now. You no longer have the threats you used to have. People want to complain, but really, it's the only thing that makes life fun. I've said that multiple times. That's the whole point of why you want to live.
Yeah.
It's because you can die.
And you should embrace that part of
Yeah.
life. You should embrace the death and the dying.
Yeah.
Because now we're so far and scared of it that could be used as a weapon against us. Like,
Listen, let's just take it all away. You can say whatever you want. Anyone can say whatever they want, bro. To me, you take everything away from the world. What's the funnest thing in the world? Psychedelics. It would, if nothing else was to be done, we were all here, pitch black naked, no buildings, no nothing
no
tomorrow.
electricity, nothing.
I want to do some psychedelics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat, piss, shit, fuck psychedelics. That's
Yeah,
probably gonna
yeah.
be most of my
and
life.
you'll just do a bunch of shit on those things. Like, I'm gonna go swim
That's
this
the
river.
truth,
I'm gonna
bro.
go build a boat. I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a bunch of different
whatever
shit.
you want to do, whatever you want to see.
A bunch of shit on a bunch of substance, right? Like that's how it would go down, bro.
And that's
what
how
you would do.
And that's how you get culture.
And
You
now
might
they've
write a
taken-
screenplay, and then you find people who just want to be in a screenplay. You put on shows.
But now they've taken away our psychedelics. They've taken away the psychedelics. So to me, I know this doesn't sound right, people, but this is how I see life, and it is what it is. To me, nothing else is really fun. And you could say jobs and families and animals or whatever you want. I guess that's all kind of cool and it all has a place. But like for me, I think an altered substance would be my preferred substance. Like I think, being sober isn't really human, in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
all about like what you're on,
Yeah.
like what you're putting in your body and shit. And I think like if I had all the free time in the world, I'd probably do a bunch of different shit, bro. I would really probably consume my days, but really,
Yeah,
I'm
telling you, like,
obviously you're not
literally-
going to trip every day because you wouldn't even want to do that.
Literally, like you, like that, like again, like that's how you just get the culture that we have these days. People would just be sitting around bored and they would be occupying themselves. That's how people make musical instruments because they want to entertain themselves. and then people write shows, they make the music, they make art, they make sculptures, they fucking start doing backflips, they start doing cool somersaults, like
It's just
anything
weird,
that they
right?
find enjoying,
It's
you
just weird
know?
that people just start deciding that. It's
Yeah.
like, I want to be a father.
Yeah.
I want to be a father. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa, well, we all want to do shit that didn't create life.
Yeah.
Now
Whoa,
you want to
hold
create
up, hold
life.
up, hold up. We're only
You're
13
bringing the
now.
whole life
We
thing
can do
up.
that at 15 because we got try to go.
She can reproduce.
You know, and I mean,
Both two teenagers, 13 and 13, could reproduce. That's crazy.
mhm.
Why is that?
That's probably for the most part how it went down back in the day, bro. You probably had a lot. You were marrying off your sons and
Yeah.
daughters, and then they were procreating, and then
That's crazy. When
on,
they,
on,
like,
and on,
and
on.
that still happens, bro. Arranged
Yeah.
marriages and
It
shit.
still goes on
Like,
around the
that is
world.
weird, bro.
Yeah, but we're just not that far
Are
from the
you
times.
allowed? Like, okay. I feel like, yeah. You know how we said, like, you're not going to allow murder, you're not going to allow blah blah blah, right? Like, do you think you have the right to tell someone what they can do with their child? Like, if they want to sell their child to their neighbor, like, do you have the right to say that
They're
they
gonna be
cannot
like,
do
hey,
that?
you can't sell this child.
So, do you own the child? Is that what you're saying? Or what do you say? You know what I mean? Like,
See, this is one of those things that's just like really kind of like,
but they're put the
you
child
know,
in custody.
yeah, like they'll just literally give it
But
up.
I'm like, I have a great home.
Did you listen to the full podcast, the Inheritance podcast?
No, I got
Yeah.
about an hour in.
So
No, about 50 minutes.
So the last bit of that is like really fucking like that shit was like, we had that woman Barbara who went, she adopted a baby who was, born hooked on crack. And then, she eventually, a couple, like I would say like a couple months later, she gets another call